Thanks for coming. My name's Jeff Thompson. I'm one of the pediatric intensive care docs here and the CEO of Gundersen. I want to thank all of you for coming to hear just a little bit about this project. There's going to be tours afterwards. My role is to give you a little context. Gundersen believes that our responsibility is to the breadth of the population, that it's not just in the walls of the hospital or the walls of the clinic. Our board, our senior leadership, our staff believe that we're responsible for the breadth of the population. And in that, in being responsible broadly, it means that we think about the health and well-being of our whole community. Not only the health as you think of it, but taking care of them when they're sick, keeping them healthy, keeping the economy healthy. Our board is way ahead of most in the country. We were just at a national meeting called Clean Med. 900, 1,000 people from around the country. Our community, La Crosse, was singled out as the lead community, the place in the country where the rest of healthcare should look at to find a model. Our board has said we will invest in sustainable energy production, a sustainable approach to building, a sustainable approach to how we take care of patients. And by sustainable, it means low impact on the environment and low impact on the cost of delivering health care. Our board has had the courage to invest in projects. They don't have a 1-year or 2-year return sometimes, but they do have a great return for our community. What this project is about is, instead of getting heat from Texas natural gas or electricity from coal from Wyoming, we are going to get heat and electricity from wood chips from western Wisconsin. This is providing a local solution. So instead of wringing our hands and saying the cost of health care or the environmental issues, why doesn't somebody do something about it? Our board, our senior leadership, our staff has said, we'll do something about it. We'll figure this out. And remember, I said, not only do we have to do it for the health of the population, but we have to do it for the economy. So we will save over $500,000 a year on our energy costs. And what little we do spend, we're going to spend in our local, our regional economy. This project takes us 38% of our goal to be 100% powered by renewables from our region. It will ultimately decrease our environmental footprint. It'll decrease the cost of delivering health care, and it'll improve the local economy. Now, Jeff will give you details about exactly in the project and how we use the steam for a variety of things and the electricity. But I want to emphasize that the mission of the organization, the mission talks about distinguishing ourselves through excellence and the health and well-being of the community. This is a step towards improving the health and of the health of the citizens and the economic health of the community. So I want to invite Jeff and Mike and Deb to give some comments from their perspective on this activity and how it fits into our overall plans. So thanks for coming. Jeff.
Good morning. As Dr. Thompson said, my name is Jeff Rich. I'm Executive Director of Gundersen Envision, which is a subsidiary of Gundersen Health System. This biomass project is part of Gundersen's Envision program, which is our vision for environmental stewardship. 5 years ago, we set a goal to become 100% energy independent in 2014. What we mean by that is that we will produce more clean, renewable power than we consume from fossil fuel sources. This project, the biomass boiler project, will achieve 38% of that goal. making it by far the largest single project in our portfolio. Most people don't realize that hospitals consume a great deal of heat energy. In fact, 60% of the energy that we consume as a health system is for heat. That's kind of a surprise. Most people think about electricity. We run large boilers every day to provide heat and steam to our facilities for the processes that we use, such as sterilizing of instruments for the surgery center, cleaning linens in our laundry right behind us here, providing cafeteria food services that we need to provide to patients and their families, heating our buildings, of course, and even to dehumidify our air conditioning systems in the summertime. So even on the hottest days of the summer, one of these big boilers in this power plant behind us are running to provide those services behind the scenes to our organization. The 3 large boilers that are in that building in the power plant are over 40 years old. They were installed in 1971 and are reaching the end of their duty life. Several years ago, we began planning for their replacement, and we looked for ways to utilize clean, renewable resources from our region, rather than purchasing fossil fuel from other states and nations. In addition, we were looking for ways to make budgeting more predictable for heat, because natural gas tends to be very volatile and vary from year to year, so it was hard to budget for each year. This region is rich with biomass and biogas resources. Some call it the Saudi Arabia of biomass. Our state has a number of industries that can benefit from projects such as this, including dairy operations, food processing facilities, and forestry businesses, by turning their waste streams into a revenue source. At the same time, they're improving the air and water quality, which is important to our tourism industry in Wisconsin. Another advantage is that we can make our own homegrown energy right in our area, providing new opportunities for job growth and keeping dollars close to home. Projects like this promote self-sufficiency in our communities and builds and fosters a culture of independence versus one of dependence. We now process our biomass heating fuel from our local partnerships with companies such as Nelson Hardwoods, Lambert Forest Products, and Olson Trucking, who delivers the fuel to our campus. Those dollars go back into those companies. This biomass project will not only provide steam, but will also be used to make electricity, as you'll see in a few minutes when we go on the tours. We have something called a steam turbine that takes high pressure steam and then spins a turbine that runs a motor that generates electricity. And that has enough electricity to offset 225 homes worth of power each year. So it's a lot of power that goes into our clinic and reduces our load. As Dr. Thompson said, this project will save Gundersen approximately $500,000 a year at today's energy prices, which will help us keep the cost of healthcare low for our patients. As you see, it utilizes clean wood chips. You can see those behind you here. And the combustion has been incorporated state-of-the-art emissions control systems. We'll explain those a little bit more to you in a bit. But we wanted to provide this project in a healthy way. So it's cleaned very good. If you walk past this morning, you can't see smoke or smell smoke coming out of it. The particulates are cleaned out. It's a very clean process. I'd like to thank our leadership here, in particular Gary Schmuck, Gary Moore, Alan Eber, Dennis Renault, who lead our facilities operations, and then the staff and grounds crew that help maintain this facility in this new process. They're having to adjust their normal routine because it's a different system to operate, and they had a lot of input in the project and made a lot of great decisions and are helping to make this happen. So I just want to recognize them, because often they're behind the scenes, unsung heroes, yet these are critical processes for supporting the clinical operations that we deliver to the community each day, but they're often not remembered when you think about Gundersen. I'd also like to thank several of the organizations that have helped bring this project to fruition, who've worked diligently in recent months to design, build, and commission the project. Some of these include Sebesta Blomberg, who's here today, the design team, AFS, the boiler manufacturer, Fowler Hammer, Modern Mechanical, and Stanek Electric. I really want to thank those groups for the work that they've done. Finally, I'd like to thank our senior leadership team, our Board of Governors, and Board of Trustees for their support in making this a reality. It takes ingenuity, perseverance, and courage to develop new ways of doing things and to bring about positive change. It makes me very proud to be a part of this organization. Thank you. All right, well, we're pleased to have the Department of Administration Secretary Mike Hipsch with us today. Mike has been in public service for over 20 years and has served in a variety of roles, starting at the La Crosse County Board and then representing the 94th Assembly District in the state legislature for 16 years. During his tenure in the state assembly, Mike served 2 years as the assembly majority leader and 2 years as the assembly speaker. Secretary Hipsch has a long history of working to lower Wisconsin's tax burden, making government more efficient, and fostering job creation. I'd like to thank Secretary Hipsch for his assistance with a U.S. Forestry Service grant utilized for this project, which was administered by his department through the State Energy Office. They also provided some technical feasibility study assistance early in our development work, which was critical in the project's success. I'm particularly happy to introduce Mike today, since he and his wife Valerie have 2 sons, Ryan and Brett, that attend school with my daughters in West Salem. And I've watched them grow from knee-high to a grasshopper up into high school now. And I've witnessed a great example that his family sets in our community. Please join me in welcoming DOA Secretary Mike Hipsch.
Thank you, Jeff. That was very kind. I appreciate it. Well, and Jeff Thompson knows me even longer because both of them were born here. So both of my boys, it's nice to get back. It's always great to be back home. When the governor said regretfully that he couldn't be here, I was quick to jump at it because number one, I get to sleep in my own bed, which I did the night before. And I get to be home and see so many familiar faces again. The governor does send his greetings. He is apologetic that he couldn't be here. He wanted to make sure that since he couldn't, 2 of his top cabinet officials would be here, his most trusted advisors. They were also busy, so Kathy and I are here to take that. But it is good also to join us with our colleagues from the legislative branch, Representative Lee Narrison, Representative Steve Doyle. Steve, of course, representing the best assembly district in the state. Congratulations. But it's good to have both of them here as well to recognize the value and the vision that has occurred. As Jerry Arndt was telling me just before, this entire facility, in fact, this entire idea began with just Jeff and Jerry sitting in a room and talking about what could be. And that's how things like this occur. And you take a look at the development that we've seen here today and what it's going to mean not only for the fuel efficiency and the savings that Gundersen Lutheran is going to be able to gain from providing this type of service, but also the benefit it has to our local merchants, to our local community. Wood chips from Warren's and Prairie du Chien, trucking right here in Holmen. Even the ash is being used to replenish the land value we have even in Holmen, where it's spread on fields to go back into the soil. This is just one of those areas and one of those businesses that the governor always talked about when he says being green should make you green. You know, you should be able to find savings from the way that you're being green. And this is one of the best examples in the state. Again, he sends his greetings. I am pleased that the Department of Administration and specifically the Division of Energy Services and Amanda Mott from our offices was able to play a small part of it. But the facility and what you're going to produce here and really the example that, as Jeff talked about, the example that you're setting for facilities like this, for hospitals, really for businesses across the country, is once again putting the spotlight on Western Wisconsin as how you do things. Wisconsin has often been that laboratory where people look to for innovative ideas, and it's always a pleasure to be in Western Wisconsin when once again we're doing it. So congratulations for this facility. I look to see even greater innovation as you move closer to your 100% goal, but to take this step forward is just a very proud day for me, having been a lifelong resident of Western Wisconsin. So thanks so much for having us here.
Thanks, Secretary Hipsch. I'm now pleased to introduce Wisconsin's Department of Natural Resources Secretary, Kathy Stepp. Along with a strong private sector background, Secretary Stepp has a deep public service history, which began with a 3-year term on State's Natural Resources Board. That experience led her to run for State Senate in 2002, and Kathy was elected as Racine State Senator, where she served until 2006. During Kathy's time in the State Senate, she provided additional leadership as the chairman of the State Senate Job Creation Committee and as co-chair of the Environment of Natural Resources Committee. Secretary Stepp's focus is on improving the DNR's customer relations and streamlining the permitting process to enhance job creation within our state. Like many of us, Kathy believes that job creation and environmental protection are mutually supportive, not exclusive. I'd like to thank Secretary Stepp for the good work that the DNR is doing we have found that the DNR staff to be very helpful on this project and all of the projects in our Envision portfolio, particularly as we work through the permitting processes. We look to them for guidance in doing the things the right way and consider the DNR staff partners in our work. I first met Kathy a couple of years ago in Unalaska when she attended the groundbreaking ceremony on our landfill gas project with La Crosse County up there. I think you'll find her to be a very positive, uplifting person and very engaging, and she's working hard to improve our state. Please join me in welcoming DNR Secretary Kathy Stepp.
Well, hello. And while Secretary Hipsch got to brag about how this is his home area, I just want to thank everybody here in this part of the state for always making me feel at home. And that's why it's such a joy for me to get to be able to join you today to celebrate this next step forward in your sustainability efforts in Wisconsin. And may I just say, from the Department of Natural Resources perspective, this is the poster child example about how we can have job creation, economic development, and environmental protections, and even enhancements all at the same time. And there are so many exciting things that are going on all over this part of the state. Yesterday I had the opportunity to visit with our friends at Organic Valley for the very first time and hear about all the different innovative things that they're working on, the different products that they're coming forward with, and how they too are leading the world by example in the world of organic farming. And it all ties together. Then I hear about the partnerships that Gundersen Lutheran is doing with the company too. And I said, man, what can I do to help you shine the light on these amazing things that are happening? And the innovation that comes out of this part of the state is really, really impressive. So all of the things that you all are talking about here at Gundersen Lutheran with this particular project are the things that we're trying to spread the message about at the department. And I just want to thank you for giving us even more to brag about, so that during my travels in the state and even out of state many times, I can hold up this particular project as a shining example of how we can do those things right in moving Wisconsin forward, ever being mindful of the fact that Wisconsin historically has been the leader in these areas of innovation, of environmental protection and enhancement, and now tying that in with job creation and that very, very important nexus. So I just want to thank you. I want to congratulate you, and as always, thank you for opening your hearts and your time to me when I come to visit this part of the state. This is really the fun part of my job, and as I always say, and I know that the Secretary will agree with me, any day out of Madison is a good day. So I want to thank you for letting me join you all here today as well. Thanks.
Well, thanks for those nice remarks. This thing doesn't happen, although Jerry and I sitting around thinking up is a good way to start things, but it's taken an awful lot of other people to work on it since then. We have two of our board members, Brad Sturm, a current board member, and Don Frank, who was a board member during the development of all this and is an Envision board member with us today. Again, the finances get looked at very hard in this because we're healthcare, and our job is to lower the cost of healthcare. Our belief is that we're going to lower the cost of healthcare. Where does the money come for this? The way I think about it is we have to have savings. We're a large organization. We have ups and downs in the economy. We have to have some savings. Instead of having all that savings in the bond market or the stock market, a small piece of that saving is invested in projects like this that will then do a number of things. It will ultimately, our program will decrease pollution that causes illness in people. It will save us money. It will be better for the local economy. I think another important piece to remember is our job is a broad job. This is a small piece of it. We have to hit our other marks. We're still one of the leading people in the country for quality of care measured on outcomes, whether it's health grades or Truven, or recently Consumer Reports got in the game and we were third in the country or something of the thousands. We believe we can do many things very well. And I want to thank the trust of the board for allowing us to do this, for our community partners, for our staff that have worked so hard, often in the second tier. We are accomplishing what we set out to do. We are improving the environment for our patients. We are going to decrease costs and we are going to distinguish our community in our region, in our state, as mentioned. And last week I was invited to present our region story in Oxford in London for the European Clean Med meeting. So we are trying to live our mission of improving the health and well-being of our patients and our communities. I want to thank all of you that have helped us. We believe this is another big step in that direction. Please stay around for a tour. Alan has a group of people that help lead you on a tour, and you can see the inner workings of this next step in serving our community. Thanks for coming.